Eternal Beauty On Air podcast. We have our Ebony team here today, and we are here to talk about silk press versus press and comb. So, before we get into that, let me give you a little background about Eternal Beauty. Eternal Beauty was opened in 2002, and we are located on 1008 East Gun Hill Road, Bronx, New York, uptown in the northeast section of the Bronx. So we are a full-service salon where we do all hair care and beauty needs. We cover all. We not only do extensions, locks, braiding, things that are very current, such as crochet braids and sister locks, and things that are very detailed. We also focus on hair care. And with hair care, we focus on making sure that all of our clients continue to have healthy hair, which maybe that healthy hair thing, quote there, kind of got lost in the sauce along the way in the beauty industry. People are more focused on hair styling, but we here at Eternal Beauty, we focus on hair care. So one of the things that has been present in hair care since the beginning of hair services is the pressing comb. The pressing comb is something that we still use. It has never gone out of style, but it has changed over the years. So that is our topic today. Before we get into our topic, we are and the flat iron. Let me not forget the flat iron for all of our new generation hairstylists in the industry who kind of taking over and taking it by storm. They're really focused, as we were, on hair care, and they're keeping our clients healthy and bouncy and behaving and everything else. So right now we're going to introduce ourselves one by one. My name is Karen Vanderberg. I'm the owner of Eternal Beauty, and I don't call myself the owner because no man is an island, and I feel that the team owns Eternal Beauty. And these are independent stylists that have their own clients and take care of their own hair care needs, and they focus on the betterment of the hair of their clients. So we also have senior stylist Janet Samuels, who is here with us. She has been licensed the longest in the industry. We refer to her as our senior stylist. She has the longest track record of being a part of the beauty industry. So Janet, talk to us, hon.
Hi, I've been a licensed stylist since the 80s. I'm happy to be here today. I'm just going to enjoy the topics today. You know, that's it. Okay.
And we're here to have fun today. Second on our roster of stylists is Miss Portia Blake. She is a loctician, but not only a loctician, she's a licensed natural hair care stylist. So, Portia Blake, you can tell us about yourself.
Yes, my name is Portia Blake. I am a licensed natural hair care specialist. I specialize in locks, crochet braids, but I do all types of natural hair. I've been doing natural hair since the year 2000. Some of you weren't even born then
yet. Next we have Sanday, aka Sunny is her name. So Sunny's going to tell us a little bit about herself and her experiences styling. We'll get into that on our second half.
Hey guys, it's your girl Sunny, and I'm not only a licensed cosmetologist, but I'm also a cranial prosthesis specialist. And I've been doing hair since I was about 8 or 9 years old. So I think this is a great topic to discuss. But as you know, I do have both views on my side.
Yes, all right. And next we have Alana Rose, who is a stylist on our team and is very focused on hair care. She's a licensed cosmetologist in New York State, and she will introduce herself to you.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon everyone. My name is Alana Rose. I specialize in silk press, weave, crochet. You guys can follow me at Rose Does My Hair so you guys can see the hair that I do. But I can't wait to talk about the differences and how pressing has evolved through the years. So let's get started.
All right.
All right, ladies, I want you to come closer. I want you to bring your grandmothers, your mothers, and even your daughters, because I have something to show you. Some of you are familiar with this. Some of you have never seen it before. This is called the hot comb. The hot comb. Why is it called a hot comb? Because it gets hot. It gets very, very hot.
Very hot.
And I remember getting my hair straightened with the hot comb on Saturdays. Mind you, it was only like 3 times a year, for my birthday, for Easter, and for the beginning of school. But it took 3 people to hold me down and wash my hair. And you let your hair air dry because there was no blow dryers back then. And then after Saturday dinner was cooked, Mom says, come, it's time to do your hair. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, the hot comb is in the stove right after she finished cooking her string beans or collard greens right there. And this part here had to go into the flame because that's the part that actually straightens your hair. And then we begin. She pulls the comb through. Ow, you're burning me. Well, keep still and I wouldn't burn you. But it hurts. Oh, keep still and it wouldn't burn you.
The drama.
Then after your hair was straightened, you gotta take a nap. You may have some ice cream, maybe some crackers or some cookies or whatever. We get to the hot curlers. And the hot curlers are now going to turn those nice little silky strands of hair that you had that was nice and straight. It's now going to turn them into curls. What they used to do was stick the hot curlers in the curling wax. And it melts the wax. Go in like that. And then you pull it out and you curl that hair. Now trust me. You had curls that last for days, 2-3 weeks. But the process to get it done, I'm still terrified of the straightening comb. Now, Janet has similar issues or similar experiences with the straightening, with the hot curlers and the straightening comb. Let's talk about hers for a little while.
Hi, my experience is totally different. I've been a stylist since the 80s. 80s and 90s, a lot of little children come in Easter time to get Shirley Temple curls. You use the Marcel iron, which this becomes a Marcel iron. So now, my most experience is with a Marcel iron. You had to do a lot of curls for little kids, Easter time especially, graduation, around that time. So that's really my experience, not so much, torture. No torture for me.
Were you getting your hair pressed?
Yeah, I got my hair pressed when I was up until I was 16. What do you do? Twice a week? Not twice a week, twice a month.
Twice a
time.
month.
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, yeah. Every 2 weeks, but we didn't torture. I guess it became,
regular.
Just regular. So that's my experience. Next person.
Talk about click.
Well, the proper way to use Marcel's is you have to click through it. Most people go all the way down and then roll it up. No, you really need to
start at the top
and round your wrists. So we tend to have bad wrists as hairstylists, but that's really my experience.
Now, Janet, didn't you used to teach press and curl?
I taught press and curl when I went to beauty school. Absolutely.
What beauty school did you go to?
Wilfred Academy. Ooh, that's in the 80s.
Just give her an applause.
Yay! Thank you, but that's my experience. Let's go.
All right.
Sanjay, Sunny Dixon.
So fortunately for me, I'm actually the middle ground that bridged the gap between all the ladies here because I was fortunate enough to experience both the press and curl and the flat iron phase. So little secret, I mean, it's not a secret anymore because I'm grown and my mother really can't tell me what to do with my hair. But when I was younger, I think I was the only one in junior high school that was wearing bobos. I'm talking about, I was so traumatized because my aunt would give me bobos and she used to give me these big old I love Jesus bobos. And I used to just be yo, I'm about to get beat up. I know I am. But we used to do bobos all the way up until I believe my 8th grade graduation, and then stepping into high school, my aunt used to be well, why don't you straighten your hair? And I'm no, my mom is gonna get mad, and so on and so forth. But me being me, I did it anyways. So I would have my cousin use the hot comb on me to straighten my hair. But much like you, Miss Janet, it would be a lot of burns and stuff like that, and you won't know, you'll feel it, and the favorite excuse was, oh, it's the steam. You be oh, okay. it's okay. And then you scratch your head 3 days from now, you got like a big old burn, and you like, damn, like, you know, how do I prevent this? So that was my first interaction, and then I started doing it myself. Like, by the time I was maybe 15 or 16, I was very good with Marcel irons and things of that nature. But I also knew that there was an easy way to do it. So this was about the early 2000s, call it like 2002 to 2006. My first interaction with a flat iron was with a Conair flat iron. And I remember that it had the purple plate. It was tight. It was like their version of it wasn't titanium. It was like ceramic. There you go. So prior to that, like all the irons that came out, they had gold plates, but this one promised shine and sheen. So I was using that initially just to, like, you know, touch up the hair, especially when you had like a leave out weave or whatever. Like just to touch it up. It was quick, it was fast, but then I soon discovered that I can actually do it with my whole entire head. And how I would do the process, and I didn't know what it was called then, but how I would do the process was, and a lot of people are familiar with this product, it was the IC hair gloss. And instead of using the curling wax that they would do, because it was so heavy and it weighted the hair down, I moved into the high C. So little did I know, I was basically doing a silk press without knowing I was doing a silk press, right? So I would always use the high C, and it gave my hair like the shine, and it would flow for a couple days, but you know, I'm still learning about hair at this point. So I didn't know that a little goes a long way, and that I would have to continue certain steps in order to continue like the flow of the hair and make it last longer and create less damage. But if you were to personally ask me, given a history of the flat iron and the Marcel, I really feel like, and you know, from my learning and my understanding, the difference between the two literally is technique. And the utilization of equipment, like what are you using to accomplish this? Because some people, like I feel like some of our senior stylists feel like there is no difference, like, you know, with if you're using a hot comb versus a flat iron.
There's a lot of difference.
It's usually the technique. It's usually the technique and the products that are being used when you're doing it.
That's the difference.
There's a lot of difference. There's a lot of difference in the technique you touched on, which I agree with. The technique has a lot to do with it, but also your generation, you guys are into a lot of product. Like we'll hear from the next stylist that's going to speak. Alana, yeah. So let's go. That's your introduction. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, for me, growing up, before I talk about products, the silk press was basically, I was always looking like James Brown, and I hated it. My mom would use a bunch of grease, and it would just be very stiff. So, like Sanday, I found out about flat irons, and I feel like that was the phase of, like, this was maybe like 2008, 2009. So when the girls was wearing the bangs.
Swoops, yes.
So I was doing all of that. I was learning about flat irons, but I think when I got to cosmetology school, that's when I really learned about, it's not just about a flat iron. Like Sanday said, it's technique and it's product. So I remember I went to Miss Karen, and I was like, Miss Karen, I want to get really good at my silk press. She was like, okay, well, you know, you got to buy the right products. And she started giving me students to practice on. And I went through all of the products. Ite, like...
That's one of my favorites.
You like Ite?
I love it. That's one of my favorites.
I like Ite too. I don't really like the caramel. I don't really like how it gets
understand
clumped.
why they use that?
I actually, not to go off topic, but the reason I like Ite is for that purpose. It's for that caramel, because with the banana and the honey and everything that's in there, it's so important to get that kind of nutrition to the follicles. Because if you're like me, like I've never, the closest I've gotten to chemicals in my hair is highlights and color. But I've never done a perm. And when people see my hair straight, they're usually like, well, how do you maintain thick, healthy, straight hair? And when my hair is curly, they want to know the same. Like, how do you do it if all you've ever done is heat and a silk press, right? And, you know, was outside of the norm of doing braids here and there, I also like to use products like Ete.
Because it puts moisture in the hair.
It deposits that moisture. It gives you all the nutrients that other products don't use. Like, you know, like when you're reading a product, we look at it and we're like, oh, this has olive oil in it, right? But how far down is that olive oil, right?
Like what percentage
Right.
of olive oil?
Right.
Right.
Like how far down? Because we know like the first 3 ingredients is the one that's
main.
prominent, and then everything after that is there, but it's not.
Right.
You know, but I liked that their product line was so natural. I loved it a lot, and to my dismay, I don't know what happened. Maybe my hair got used to it, but I just found out like over the years it just wasn't performing like it used to.
When do you guys, my question again to the Duma stylist, I think everyone took an interest in natural hair. What year do y'all think they took an interest? Because I can, I mean, myself and Karen can remember 80s and 90s, everyone had relaxed hair.
Yeah, relaxing.
90% of the world had relaxed hair.
That's a fact.
80s and 90s heavy. When did that change, ladies?
I don't know what the switch was, but I know I can remember India Ari, I'm Not My Hair.
Yes.
And I think that was kind of the start for me. I think that was around like 2007, 2008. That's when I noticed. But it was very few and far between. And everyone was looking like, girl, what you doing? Like, where's your relaxer? But it's very few and far between.
I know for me as a loctician, I would say the transition for me started about 2000, because there's a book out there that said for natural girls who have considered locks when perms became too rough.
Oh, I remember that book.
That book really changed me because the perms were burning me, scabs and scabs and scabs and scabs.
Bad hairstylist.
Well, I was being based.
Wait. What did Wayman say? Because last time you got me Supergirl.
I was being based, but as you get older, your system changes, and it just wasn't able to react to the perms.
Right.
So I let the perm grow out, and I braided my hair. I did not do box braids often. I did cornrows. I did cornrows for about a year or two, and then I was introduced to sister locks. But that's another conversation. That's another conversation. So I would say the change for me and some older women became around 2000.
Well, my experience was different than Portia's and Janet's also, because Portia, you were terrified of the hot comb.
Absolutely.
Janet wasn't really getting burned.
No.
I fell right in the middle. Now, you used to do yours every 2 weeks.
No, I didn't do mine.
I did mine.
Every 2 weeks.
Mine was 3 times a year.
3 times a year. I got a press and curl once a month. And my hair stayed bone straight until the next shampoo. Like, a lot of girls' hair would get fuzzy, but my aunt pressed my hair so serious. I had the hardest press, and I had long, thick, healthy hair. Janet knows me from back then. And it just looked like a relaxer. So it was no need for me to get a relaxer. I didn't get a relaxer until I was about 17. And then because I got into gel styles, like finger waves and big ponytails, and you just want to be laid, and no matter how you try to lay a press and curl ponytail, it wouldn't slick down like a relaxer. So at that time, I started getting relaxers. But once a month, I didn't have too many burn experiences, but I just remembered always having straight hair all my life.
So now I have a question for Janet. Janet, to you, what is the difference between a press and curl and a silk press?
Okay. To me, I would say I still prefer original press the hair. 2 presses, give it a hard press, and then you're going to use the flat iron to straighten it out. For me, silk press, I'm not too, it's okay, I can do it, no problem, but at the same breath, I really feel that the roots are not straight enough. So there's the difference right there. No matter how close you come to the roots with a flat iron, even though you think you're getting it straight, it's going to bubble. They don't do enough pressing with it because, again, this generation, everything is heat damage. So we really need to research heat damage to find out what heat damage really is.
I completely agree. I feel like because of, YouTube University with the girls, I feel like all of these girls have feel like they know about natural hair, and they feel like any type of heat is heat damage. And there's
Right,
a difference
automatically.
between heat training and heat damage.
Absolutely.
I feel like girls don't know that. And I also feel like the difference between getting the roots straight, I feel like Sanday will agree with me, is the blowout process.
Absolutely. It's
ahead,
all
girl.
in the technique. And anyone who has ever gotten a silk press by me, if you are a 4C girl, you already know that when you walk away from me, you are looking like you're giving 3C like me. Like,
I have a problem
it's
with
not,
that.
it's
Big
literally,
problem with
What?
that.
if you
Yes.
think about it, if
I
you
do.
think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you go to
Advanced people, that heat protection that they're so loving, we all know, Karen and myself will tell you, heat protection, foolishness.
That's
But
a bunch of
we're
garbage.
going to like it only because we're only going to like it because they
That's
say
garbage.
so.
No,
But
because
air quotes.
to touch on that, what heat protectant is
We have to go
really,
back to heat protectant.
what
I have
it's
something to
really
say.
doing is it's protecting the hair from UVA and UVB rays. But I'm gonna let the girls think what they need to think, and we're gonna get back into this other portion of the conversation.
Education.
Right. Okay. So after you get your hair blown out, right? Not all, but most Dominican hair salons run over your hair with the flat iron,
They do,
right?
yeah.
So you just went through three heat processes, right? Now let's touch on the press and curl, because if you had to tell me which one to put in hierarchy, I'm gonna straight let you know that I'm gonna go with my silk press, then I'm gonna go with my press and curl, and then I might, choose on my blowout. But let's go into the press and curl. I always tell people that a press and curl is not bad. Using Marcel's are not bad, because with Marcel irons, they do not get hotter, they get cooler. Hence why you have to constantly put them in the stove, right? That's the advantage. So when you're putting product on that hair, and again, you see that steam, and if you don't know how to gauge that heat, you are going to burn hair. We're not going to lie about it. You will burn some hair. But, once you become the master of it, you know what it is. Now with a silk press, again, it is technique. When you are silk pressing your hair, the steps are a little bit longer, but they're beneficial. You go get a silk press, you have to clarify the hair.
Yep.
The reason you have to clarify the hair is because you have to remove everything that's on that strand. Then you gotta go in with a deep conditioner, right?
Well, I'm sorry, but you clarify, but then you got to put moisture back in the hair. So
Absolutely.
You need a moisturizing shampoo.
What I normally do, based on the client, and I don't disagree with you, based on my client, like if it's a me, I clarify and then I use a deep conditioner that's gonna promote moisture.
Okay.
Like the
Notice
Crazy
how much
Pellet.
product we're using now.
Well, yeah, but we're only on 2, Miss Janet.
Okay, I'm listening.
And if
I'm
you
still
count,
listening.
Alana's, it's still a shampoo process, so we're still on 2.
Still on 2.
And then when you go in to do the blow dry process, which I tell everybody, that is the most important part of your silk press.
I agree.
This is where the hair is damaged, right here.
No,
Let's talk about
no, this is not.
Because you end up using less heat.
Exactly. When you go in for that blow dry process, right? I don't know about everybody else, but a paddle brush with that wrist work.
Yeah.
You're using that paddle brush with that wrist in 4 sections, and of course you're putting in your leave-in conditioner, and one that again is promoting moisture,
Oh,
and
y'all
you're
said
pulling
to dry out
that.
some of the water first, right?
You have to dry it out. You have to dry it out completely with that blowout process.
No,
Janet's
we're
talking
talking-
about sitting under the dryer, dry
No.
the
I don't
Yes.
like that.
I personally don't do that,
Me
but to
either.
me that's not damaging. That's
No.
not damaging.
The reason I don't do that, I don't do the dryer and then the blow dry, is for all that you might as well go get a wash and set.
I don't do that because the hair is drying in its pattern. You want it to
Yeah.
be stretched as much as possible.
Exactly.
So you can only, if the hair is dripping wet, then you can dry it a
Towel
little
dry
bit.
it.
But putting it under the dryer, it's just going to be hard and crunchy.
Well,
Okay.
I think
Speak
that
on
the
that,
hair
Kay.
is softer. Okay.
That's a issue.
To me, this is
That's
mine.
where the
This is how
damage
I
comes
do
in.
it. When I wash hair, I constantly run my fingers through the hair while I'm washing to prevent it from tangling while it's wet.
Yeah.
So while I'm washing and while I'm conditioning, I'm not only scrubbing the scalp, but I'm running my fingers through the hair. So
Right.
when
Yes.
my client comes out of the sink, there are no tangles in the hair. So if I were to put the client under the dryer with dripping wet hair without a comb out, it won't be a problem because the hair has already been detangled before they left the sink. But I don't do that because I find that the hair is softer when wet. And I put the leave-in conditioner so I can manipulate the hair while it's wet with the leave-in conditioner, and I go straight with the paddle brush into blowing it out. But I don't use the paddle brush on wet hair. I don't use brushes on wet hair. I use
again,
the
we're going to go back to old school to say, this is the old school portion of that. When the hair is wet and they put you under the dryer, it is just to take out some of the moisture in the hair. Mind you, we don't use as much product like
there's not
new
as many
school.
steps.
There's not that many steps in it.
But is it
why
really
we
a lot of
cause
steps?
no? But why we when there's guys say that you guys are straightening out the hair from the
right, you're stretching the strands.
You're stretching it and popping your hair right there.
So
that is the damage.
So let me know, cause all right, let me put it like this, right? If that's the damage, right?
That area.
If that's the damage, let's say hypothetically speaking that you put me under the dryer to dry out the moisture,
Just a little.
right? Now, would you not have to blow dry me to get me fully dry?
No, you only gonna blow. You're only gonna blow dry when you come out of the dryer. That portion part of it is only to dry the scalp, ladies.
Okay, but what about the hair itself?
Only the ends of your hair is gonna be a little damp. A little damp.
But you still have to blow dry me.
You have to because that
Okay,
ends
so
are
what
damp.
I'm saying to you is this. You get to dry my scalp, dry my hair, and stretch my hair during that blow dry process.
When you guys are stretching the hair, right there is the damage. The pressure, the tension, no paddle brush here, the tension is right there.
But the
right
tension,
there, look.
so
The
we
wet
can
hair,
agree.
Boom.
So what we're saying is that tension. What we're saying is that tension
Right here.
is what's causing the damage.
Tension.
Right? So therefore, tension from hot comb can cause damage.
No,
because
no,
you are
no,
stretching
no.
the hair.
No, there's no tension on hot comb.
There's no
But
tension.
how else would you get it
The
straight?
back of the comb,
The back of the
just
comb.
laying on the hair, but it's no
No,
tension.
you gotta
no
pull that
tension.
bad boy. That's
No,
why your hair
no.
was as straight as it was for as long as it was. Cause my auntie,
No.
when she get it, when she does it, she done told me already.
No, look, let me show you something. I can
You gotta
tell
hit that tension in the wrist, and you
No,
gotta bring that
that's
in.
not called tension.
Pop.
Tension.
Down.
When you press the hair out with this, okay, we talking about fully dry hair. There is no tension. Tension is pulling. This doesn't pull. This lays. This rests. If this is my hair, this is resting on my hair, and this is what's straightening it.
Technique.
That's not called tension.
Come.
No.
You know,
That's
the back
your-
of
that's
the
your
comb
wrist.
is what's,
Up.
but it's not tension.
It's
No,
not tension.
I would have to highly disagree.
This is laying.
I would have to highly disagree because I didn't see
Yeah,
my
but
point.
There's no tension on
I
that.
Look.
would have I'm gonna have to highly disagree. And if we want to hit this up right now and get in somebody's scalp to prove a point, we can do that. Because baby girl over there, she got
Get
the
the
right
ball
here.
right there.
Okay, she got the right here for this demonstration because I didn't see my auntie hot comb somebody hit, and y'all think I'm lying, with a fork, and she told me, yes, a fork, not a hot
And what
comb,
happened?
but with a fork, and she straight up told me, she says, you want that press to last,
You gotta put
pressure on the
but
hair.
not tension.
But if you're putting
It's two
pressure on
different
the hair
things.
and you're pulling the hair,
That's not tension.
tension.
No,
But
that's not tension.
I also have to say something.
That's not tension. That's
when
pressure.
you're blow drying your hair from wet to dry, your hair is at its weakest state when it's wet.
Okay.
Guess what happens, Portia? When a hair is soaking wet, you don't put this on the hair. You put this on the hair. And this is why it's not going to break. Let me just show you. You use this
Absolutely.
first,
To blow through it.
and you
Tangle it.
comb it out. And after it's combed out and fully dry.
Absolutely. And
So
then
my
you use
step
the paddle
is
brush.
wash, condition,
Okay.
leave-in condition,
Okay.
comb while it's wet with the blow dryer. There is
Detangler.
no hair
Detangler.
in between
No,
these
why
teeth
would you want to put a
when I'm
detangler?
finished.
You have a
And
No,
then
the
you take
comb
this.
is the detangler.
But guess what? There's not one strand of hair in this
No,
comb
it's not.
when I'm done. And then I use this, and guess what? There's not one strand in this brush when I'm done. Because this brush didn't hit wet hair.
Well,
I
I'ma
don't
say-
even brushes hitting wet hair.
I'm gonna just say that maybe we both
And
doing
that's what
something right.
people only
But
brush
I
right
like
here.
I like the silk press though.
Mind
I'm
you.
for the silk press.
That's
so-
what people, they only
Yeah.
manipulate wet hair because that's what's said.
Yeah.
Am I
Right,
correct?
right.
I don't
That's
put
okay.
brushes on wet hair.
So I do
never.
I do
Just
have
to
a
show the
question.
difference.
I do have a question. My question is, I'm going to start with Janet. How long does it take you to do a press and curl? And then I'm going to go to Karen.
Professionally, I'm going to give you my professional answer. It shouldn't take you from start to finish.
From start to finish,
Maybe
from dirty to
145.
curl.
Maybe 145.
An hour and a half. An hour and 45
And
minutes.
that's good because
What do
that's
you-
including
what do you think?
curling. What do you
It
think?
all
Okay.
depends on
The
the
length
density and the length.
Yes.
It can go for
145?
At
Come on,
minimum,
It
No, we're
depends.
talking-
For 3 hours.
How long is her hair? How dense is
No,
her
it doesn't
hair?
matter.
We're still talking about just the press and curl. Not the silk press.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Okay, Karen, how long do you think it takes?
It all depends. Okay, no less than an hour and probably no more than 2.5.
Okay.
But it all depends because if your hair stops here and you have a bob, or if your hair stops down here like this here, and the thickness is here or the thickness is here, that's what determines
Okay.
the length of time.
All right. So, Sanjay, how long does it take you to do a silk press?
Start to finish.
Start
Start
to
to
finish,
finish.
based on my client, it can take me anywhere from an hour and a half plus because it's based
Maximum.
on
Wash, wash.
maximum. With my longer clients, it usually takes me about 2.5 with my longer hair clients, and I have some girls that have like down the back.
Let me
Okay.
ask y'all a
And
question
wait,
about
let me
this
ask
whole thing
Alana
with the
first.
long hair.
Let me ask
Oh,
Alana
geez.
first. Alana, how long does it take you to do silk press?
Again.
No shade to girls, but I haven't had a long hair client yet. My clients, they kind of stop right here. No shade to y'all. So usually if I have an 11 a.m., I will be done by 1:30. Say if they want curls, they want, and I cut too. I don't do just a regular.
Yeah.
I
we
I
can do
give
regular.
I
We give
give
you
cuts,
cuts
I give
and
layers.
everything.
I'm gonna do you good. So
Two and a
it's
half.
okay.
But
That's
with
something.
the press and curl, we also do a clip. Whatever we need to do to get the client done. Now, I have another question, and I'm going to start with Karen with this because this is very interesting. What is your average cost for a press and curl?
Okay, so back in the days,
Way back when.
when we first started the press and curl, a press and curl was like $45.
Okay.
That was the beginning price for a short.
Yeah,
Yeah,
today.
that's the real five
That
days.
was okay. So just for a little background, Eternal Beauty opened in 2002. That is 20 exact years ago because we're in 22. So in 2002 it was 45.
Who's that, Bush?
Yeah, that was Bush.
That was Bush.
That was the Daddy
The one that
Bush.
choked on the pretzel. Okay.
Daddy Bush. Then it went to the Son Bush. Okay, that was before Obama, Clinton, all of that, and definitely before Trump, and the new one right now. So anyway, it was 45. Then I would say about 2-3 years later, it went up to about 55. But about 2020, before pre-pandemic, 1920, I would say that for a press and curl, it's about $75.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Now
I'm
that's
gonna
different from
agree.
the silk press price. Let's see.
Okay. Janet, how much is your average?
I'm going to agree with her. I'm going to say it shouldn't be, we're going to stick at 75. Because we the same.
75.
Yeah, 75.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm
We're
going
the
to
press and curl girls.
I'm going to start with Alana with this one.
Our nieces.
How much the nieces, the ebony nieces?
The ebony with the aunties
These are the
and
nieces. These are the nieces. These are the nieces.
Alana, how much is your average silk press?
My first time clients are 115 and my returning clients are 100. But I use Copperline products. I'm
Okay.
using Olaplex.
everything is high.
Sunny?
New generation.
What's your price?
Well, I'm a little bit gracious. Like, I start off at 100, but I have kitty clients, so I start them off at 65.
Yeah,
Little
kitty
babies.
clients.
So,
Those are
yeah,
babies.
my baby clients,
Up
I
until
start
what
off
age?
at, until you're about 12, you could get it for 65. After that, I start at 100 based on your length. Sometimes I start at 85, but that's if I'm omitting certain things. Like, you may not get a trim. You may have to pay for your trim.
Okay,
Yeah.
now this is the problem that we have.
We're not
Because
doing this on
our nieces, our nieces, no, our nieces believe that they do a la carte. It's called a la carte. We, as the aunts, we believe that the price should be included in everything. That would include a trim because that's the proper way to maintain.
Money is
That's the proper way to maintain the hair. If the hair is messed up and they're coming back to you and you're their only stylist, don't you want to keep it healthy, including with conditioner and trim?
Excuse me, pardon me, good ma'am. Let me explain something to you, right?
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay. 20 years ago,
Uh-huh.
that was logical.
It's not logical
20
anymore.
years ago when shampoo was $4 and $5 and top of the line shampoo was $20, that was logical. 20 years now where a good system can actually run you $35+, that's not logical.
What's the markup?
A huge markup. If they're marking me up, if I'm giving you a silk press for, let's say, $55, right? And
65.
Let's just see. Okay, 65. If I'm giving you a silk press for 65, right? And I just went to Design Essentials and bought all these products, and I spent, let's say, about $100, right?
Because you will.
Right.
And more.
Right.
And more.
So, and then, you know, not to be that girl, but let's include thy experience in education. Right, my tuition was a lot of money, right? And then let's factor in that I gotta pay a little booth rent, right?
Absolutely.
Your $65 just placed me in a negative.
No, but guess what?
You're counting.
Miss
heads.
Niece?
We don't count heads. I'm sorry. We
listen.
work smart, not hard around these
Okay, but
parts.
listen.
I don't count heads.
We don't count heads neither.
I take
But
my time with
are
every
we
head.
going to all remember and look at the fact that, let's say this is the whole conditioning thing. How many heads you getting out of that?
What that mean?
You not paying. You have one client is paying for the whole
Let
bottle.
me
Absolutely.
Okay.
Nieces.
Okay, ma'am, let me break it down from a different perspective for ya. On a daily base, does it cost you to operate your business, right?
It's called a return on your investment.
Well,
ROI.
right.
ROI.
There we go. But instead of return on investment, we were looking more so on operation. So for instance, let's say the rent on the shop is $1,500, right? How much money would I have to make a day? Shop rent, utilities, and let's say I have staff. How much money each day in a 30-day month would I need to make all those things and profit?
But we're not operating as the salon. We're operating as one person. We're operating as stylist to client.
Right.
That's it.
So
So we don't have to factor in the cost of the overhead.
If I'm a at-home stylist, I'm sorry, but I'm
Well,
gonna
that's
have
different.
to. I'm
No,
gonna
we're
have
all
to factor in my
professionals, so we're not at
electricity.
home.
We're no one's home here.
Okay.
We're
all
all
at the store.
But this
in a
is the
business
thinking
location.
that I need you guys to understand what we're thinking. If I'm standing over your head for 2.5 hours and I only made $65, and I have to take if I could get 10 shampoos out of the shampoo, and I paid $20 for the shampoo, and it's $2, per pump for the shampoo. From that 65, I have to deduct $2. My serum is
You're still
$10.
in the positive. You're not in negative.
But this
of
is
the
what I'm
positive.
saying.
Come on.
No, you guys
Shampoo
are
done
looking.
paid the rent and everything else.
You're looking at one statement when I wasn't even finished with the overall picture. Like you have to look at every little thing. And I'm sorry, but time cost.
No.
If minus,
It does,
minus
but in a certain way.
if I spend $45 on product to do your hair, right? Everything included. $45 to do your hair, and my profit is $20, and I stood over your head for 2.5 hours. You do the math. Does that make sense?
For me,
At 65.
I'm sorry, for me, ladies, I just like to put the good stuff in my clients' hair. I'm also worried about profit margins, but for me, it's mostly about length retention.
Right.
And what am I putting
Length
into your
retention.
hair? Is it good stuff? If it is, you're coming back because you're getting the inches.
Absolutely.
And you can see, Rose, that's my hair. My clients, their hair is growing. So
It's a plug for me.
it is worth the team because you will have your length retention, you will have good things in your hair, your scalp will not be dry.
Exactly.
And it's worth it.
And I feel like that was one of the issues back in the day when people were getting
You thought we
chemical
was using bad.
processes.
Oh, hello.
Oh, no.
I
we're
love
using
not
bad
using
products.
bad products.
I don't feel like
I thought we was using bad
No, we
products.
were never using bad products.
Do you know that I am Dudley trained?
Yeah,
But
you know what?
Dudley has so much
A lot of-
alcohol in their
yeah.
products.
Yes,
So
I
what
know.
does that do for us
There
natural
were
days?
a lot of the
Come on, Auntie, confess
that
now.
y'all use. No, a lot of the products y'all use today did not exist. The best products back then were Mazzani,
Dudley's.
Dudley's, Affirm, a little Design Essentials,
ORS.
and they were small. Design Essentials didn't have a vast line like the natural hair line that they have now and all that. So we were using
we had
the
the stylists
best
before
things.
they came out.
Yeah,
Design
we
Essentials,
were stylists before, because
Before
Matthew
they
came
came
to
out.
us when they first came out. We
Yeah.
were already rocking in the salon in
Yeah.
85, 86.
I
was not licensed, but I was in the salon.
I was
pretty-
licensed.
I was riding dirty. But I was in the salon. I was about 15, but I was in the salon. But I'm just saying, I appreciate the younger generation because
Me too.
they don't play
Keep
no
me on my
games
toes.
with the business. And when I mean the
Amen.
business, I mean the money.
Absolutely.
Two things that the young generation don't play with, for all you listeners out there on my Facebook Live. The young generation does not play with the business. That means the pockets. And they don't play with the product. Now they're going to put the best product in your hair,
Right.
and they're going to keep it business. If you have a 12 o'clock, you better be there at 12 o'clock. And if you booked online, you might even have had to make a deposit, and you might lose your deposit if you're not on time. So there's a lot of business things that I appreciate.
They picked that
the
up
young
very
generation
well.
for. But I think that it's a blessing
Service
because
part.
the industry, to me and Janet's generation and Portia's, we were straight business. But
Yeah.
it kind of started to dwindle, and people started becoming kitchen beauticians. You get your hair done in the staircase in the building. It was fading. But this generation right now, Sunny and Alana Rose, their generation has brought back the professionalism
To the
industry, and I so appreciate that.
Yeah, because back in the day,
Yeah, I have to give them a hand.
back in the day, we gotta keep it real. Back in the day, if you wanted quality hairstyles, you went all the way to Manhattan. You
went to Dyer Avenue.
No,
because
darling.
I was on Dyer
We
Avenue.
weren't doing no ghetto activity.
No,
You
because
were getting quality
the reason I say
Uptown.
that,
Uptown.
the reason I say that is because that was where people felt it was professional.
Well, I
It was
worked on Park
prestige.
Avenue and 60th Street in that era.
Right.
Because I didn't come uptown until years later, after I had my daughter and this and that. But before that, I was working in the Village.
Yeah.
On Avenue A and 13th Street. And then I was working on 60th and Park Avenue at Hairstyling by Joseph's. If any of you know who was doing all the celebrities, including Diana Ross and all the Pointer Sisters and all that, it was Hairstyling by Joseph's. And I worked there as an assistant for 2 years to a stylist named Walter. Big ups to Walter.
Right.
I was his assistant for 2 years. And that's another thing that has changed. That's
There are
another
no more
topic.
assistants.
Because there are no more assistants.
Why?
Being an educator.
Because-
Why?
All right, that's another topic.
That's another topic. We're still talking about
altogether.
press and curls right now. I haven't
But
straightened
now,
out.
if you're talking back in the day, I'm going to talk back in 1960s.
Ooh, child.
The only people that went to the
My
hair
mama wasn't even thinking
salon
about me.
was
I
the
wasn't
ones
born.
who were working. Where did I go? I went to Miss Elvira's house, I went to Miss Lucie's house, or I went to Mama's kitchen.
I swear I never went to nobody's kitchen.
That's where I got my hair done.
But
So
Mama-
things have changed in 40, 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
Now it's a matter of the salon. But again, this is another topic. We still have a lot of kitchen beauticians, and they will advertise themselves as being self-taught.
Well, Alana said it's called the YouTube University.
YouTube
Absolutely.
University. But that's another topic. We're going to pass the mic around for final thoughts. Janet.
Final thoughts on today's topic. I enjoyed it with my nieces.
Hey,
I
Auntie.
did enjoy.
Hey,
I
Auntie
really
Janet.
did. I had a good time. So I guess we can do it again. It might be okay.
We don't know if we invite you, baby. You started a little rusty, girl. We don't know. But to wrap up today's topic, as I stand on the top of my hill, and I strongly believe that it's a matter of technique. Everybody's technique is different,
Absolutely.
and everybody's technique may not yield the same results, but if your technique and a combination of your products are good, I feel like your silk press will be great. It'll be everlasting. And not to bash the press and curl, because sometimes you need to get up in there. Some people here is a little resistant to a flat iron, but I find that to be a great way to maintain healthy hair as well, because again, Marcel's don't get hotter. They get cooler as you're doing the hair, so heat damage is less likely.
So I would like to say I agree technique and product is my two things. But if you're at home and you're wondering like, man, I want a silk press, but I can't afford Sanday or Lana Rose's prices.
Come see Miss Janet.
They will get you right. Don't get confused. Miss Janet will give you a nice curl. Miss Karen will give you a nice press. But I also think that you guys should blow your hair out as straight as you can and take it in small sections and get a ceramic. Miss Janet taught me that. A ceramic flat iron instead of titanium. Ceramic is way better for afro textured hair. And the less product, the better. Don't put a whole bunch of grease and a whole bunch of gloss. The less product, it will last longer. Yeah. So that is my tip for a silk press at home.
Okay, this conversation was very interesting. I like that we all touched on our own perspectives on the topic. I just welcome you guys to come back and view us again. I'll post before we have our session when it should take place so that everyone can tune in and watch us. So that concludes our session for today. Miss Portia, you have any last words?
Yes, I just wanted everyone to know that Eternal Beauty has a few special events coming up. We're
gonna do tape-ins. I'm very interested.
A tape-in class.
A tape-in class. I'm very interested in teaching that class because for some reason I'm intrigued by those.
And the pop-up shop.
And we're gonna have a pop-up shop. I'm not even sure. We're not sure of the date, but we're gonna once it's up and running, we'll let you know what the date is and time.
All right. And Miss Karen has a few things.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to be teaching a custom wig making class on June 14th. At the Royal Region, that's your birthday?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, June 18th. The Saturday. I just realized.
Plug on the birthday though.
No, it's June. It's right around the birthday. Gemini season. Oh God. But it's June 18th, and it's at the Royal Regency Hotel in Yonkers, New York. And we will be teaching custom wig making, and that will be taught in English and in Spanish. And we have openings for everyone. I will post the flyer on my Instagram and my Facebook. My Instagram is Eternal Beauty Salon. That's Eternal Beauty of NY Salon. And on Facebook, I'm Karen Warner Vanderberg. So and also on July 1st, 2022, we will be having a customer appreciation 20th year anniversary celebration, and that will be held at MA Events. It's 3480 Boston Road. I'm going to send out personal invitations. This event is for all of our clients that has been following us and supporting us ever since the beginning or somewhere along the line. So we're going to be doing special invitations, and you can also shout out to me if I might have overlooked someone. Because there's a lot of people. That's going to be July 1st, 2022. So I want to see you there. And on June 18th at the custom wig making class taught in English and Spanish.
I have one thing to say. You need to?
Yes.
So I also want to say something. I will be supplying this hair. Rose Does My Hair. If you guys are interested in kinky curly clip-ins, tape-ins, bundles, I also have other textures available. If you guys like what you see, Rose Does My Hair. You can DM me for your clip-ins, tape-ins, and extensions.
And guys, we're now doing cranial prosthesis, aka medical wigs, for veterans and anyone who has insurance and is tired of not being confident due to hair loss. So feel free to hit me up on IG at PrettyBeeHair_. Make an appointment and let me get you right.
And the biggest news, we've had a lot of good news today, a lot of big news today, but I'm proud to say that in 2023, Eternal Beauty will be starting their licensed natural hair care school. This is a huge undertaking. We are looking for financing now, looking for places, and we're starting to get our license and everything in order. I am so excited for this. This will be in the Bronx.
Yes.
Let's put the Bronx back on the map.
Yes.
So, to all our Facebook fans and Instagram fans and everyone who's listening, we'll be back next month for another podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can definitely direct message us or make a comment in the feed. However, we'll get back to you.
Topic
we'll get
suggestions.
Back to you. Suggestions, whatever. Or you want to make an appointment.
Yes.
We have
Summer's coming. Come get them braids. Come get them locks tightened. Let's get these weaves together.
Get your pressing curl.
I don't want to see y'all slipping this summer, please.
All right, ladies. Bye from Eternal Beauty.
Eternal beauty. It's a hair affair. 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 We're ebony on the air like loving everything about your hair like. We're ebony on the air like talking beauty needs and hair care like. We're ebony on the air like loving everything about your hair like. We're ebony on the air like we're keeping it real like. We're ebony on the air like loving everything about your hair like. We're ebony on the air.